Dearest listeners, our lives have few happy moments, few bright moments. Christmas is meant to be one of those. Often we see advertisements showing family and friends together sharing gifts, watching movies together around a fireplace. The tree is bright with ornaments and not a face is sad or troubled. Painting these windows into what the holiday is supposed to be, in my humble opinion, causes more harm than good. I've seen darkness during these winter days. Last year I faithfully chronicled the testimony of a troubled spirit that found his way to St. Peter after coming to terms with all the misdeeds that he and others close to him have committed. It was a harrowing experience to weave together these stories. I've witnessed more tragedy related to the holidays. This time of year can cause very dreadful behavior between people. Some may try to hide it, cover up the wickedness with mirth, good tidings, but some sins can't be washed away. Some are stained on us for all eternity. The first incident. Miracle in Ester Springs. My work often takes me to strange places with even stranger people. This town is no exception. Winter had come early, fresh snow on the ground everywhere you looked. The bus pulled up to the corner of a bustling park, children laughing and tossing snowballs at each other in merriment. If you didn't look hard enough, you might even say the place was idyllic. But beneath the surface, a cauldron of secrets was brewing. There in the park, I saw snippets of it. Children slushing together icy water with the snow to harm one another and call it aimless fun. Parents busily on their phones, not even bothering to mind their kids. One could snatch them up in a moment and be gone before they even darted their eyes. But my business was elsewhere. Rumors had spread of a sickness that came to the Kraus residents. They owned a bed and breakfast near the center of the village, the biggest in this part of their countryside, and their patron, Patrick Kraus, had fallen ill. For weeks he was in a sickbed, coughing and hardly able to keep any food down. It was determined he likely would not make it through to see a proper Christmas. Yet then, the unthinkable happened. Patrick was suddenly better. Everyone in town was thrilled to see it happen. He was back to his old self, handling rooms, changing sheets, even cooking again. When I sat down with him for an interview, I heard an amazing story that explained how he had been healed. An angel of God visited me. I was praying, my wife and I, day and night for a solution. The doctors had gone, but our local deacon, Deacon Robert Harverson, you really must meet him, insisted that if we had enough faith, that the sickness would be relieved of us. And so it happened. Only a few days later, the Lord blessed me, Patrick claimed. He said the angel came to him in a vision as a woman clothed in white. She had no mouth, but she whispered to him a secret message from God, Patrick said. He said the angel was providing a blessing not only to him, but to all of Ester Springs. I could tell the way that Mr. Kraus spoke he believed the tale, and others in the village said that they also had similar visions. A visit to the local church was in order. Deacon Harverson seemed like a decent man, a protector of the community. When I asked him his thoughts about this miracle, he told me that he was certain that the angel was there in the city, watching over them. I could tell you have gifts in you, kind normal people might be fearful of. But you can tell me, I don't believe for a moment that you're a journalist as you claim. Why did you come to find this angel? He asked. I could tell that lying would be pointless. Despite his calm facade, I knew that my presence here worried him. My powers were not the kind that he was accustomed to. But even when telling the truth, I knew that he wouldn't believe it. I'm a spirit medium. This time of year is special to me because the souls from beyond the grave often return to exchange stories to us in the living world near the winter solstice. I had hoped by coming here I'd be able to determine if this miracle of yours was indeed of divine origin. The deacon's smile faded. You'll forgive me for not being so welcome to the idea of such black magic. In fact, I would wager that your stay here is overdue. I gave him my name, and I declared my intentions to stay at the Grouse bed and breakfast until I was satisfied with my investigation. The man made me wary. It was people like him that use their position who often hurt others the most. Little did I realize that my arrival would spur desperation to move his vile heart towards more wrongdoing. That night, mulling over notes and peering toward the sleepy town of Ester Springs, I felt a chill in the air that was not just from the dropping temperature. Something despicable was occurring. I closed my eyes and used my powers to peer into the world beyond. This often saps my strength, but I felt that it was the only way I could get to the bottom of things. The threads of mystical energy that tethered this place to the earth spread out before me like a spiderweb in my mind's eye. All I needed to do was listen to the vibrations of those strings, find their source, and I would know what was troubling me about this scenic countryside. The long, winding road in my mental tapestry led to the local cemetery. A scream was coming from beneath the tombstones, but this was not that of a long-forgotten soul. I sensed a living spirit was somewhere trapped amidst these cadavers. Like lightning, I jumped into my clothes and rushed across town. It was dark and it was difficult for me to be certain where I was going with my gift waning, but I kept moving forward. The cemetery, as it turned out, was easy enough to find. There was a small congregation that had formed there, crying over an open grave. Suddenly I felt foolish, realizing the sounds I heard must have been coming from the crowd. Deacon Haverson looked up from his scriptures and smiled at me. "Come, join us, please. Grief should never be handled alone." Reluctantly, I complied and neared the edge of the grave, curious to see why they had chosen to have such a late funeral eulogy. There was a large, gaping hole which looked like it was leading into an underground entrance of a mausoleum. I saw there was, in fact, a woman bound there in rags, looking up at me with swollen eyes and fear. And then I felt hands on me and my body being pushed into the staircase. "Forgive us, stranger, but it's better you're locked down here until we can decide what to do with you," the deacon declared. Then suddenly there was dirt on top of us, and I frantically realized we were being buried into this catacomb. I moved to untie the woman, terrified of the reality that the townfolks were killing me for prying into their miracles. And then I pushed the casket aside and pulled her into the passages underneath the grave. Old tunnels likely built before the town itself. We listened as the churchgoers kept burying us inside, my heart sinking as I realized escape would likely be more difficult than I could imagine. But first my priority towards the trembling woman, her frail body, evident that these people had done her much harm. "What is your name?" I told her as we settled into the dark, stony room. I could see nothing around me, but above I heard the townsfolk beginning to sing carols. They were happy about the wicked deed they just participated in. It chilled me to my very core. "Lydia," she whispered, as we used each other for warmth. I could sense something was different about her. "Tell me, what have they done to you?" I begged. Lydia seemed reluctant, perhaps too traumatized by the experience. I knew it was a story I would need to hear, though, to unravel this mystery. But for now, I let the darkness comfort us, as I thought of how to escape and how to move forward. Saving the oxygen in the room would be vital, I realized fearfully. This holiday would be a long and perilous journey. I was certain of that. Hey there kids, it's me, MrCreepyPasta, and thank you so much for watching tonight's video. And if you guys are not listening on the podcast, then I strongly suggest you check out Spotify. The MrCreepyPasta Storytime podcast on Spotify is exactly what you see here on YouTube. Or if you're listening on the podcast, I strongly suggest you check out YouTube. The MrCreepyPasta channel on YouTube is the exact same thing you see on Spotify. So really, there's no reason to cross-platform unless you just want to see more things. Or you want to see more of me, which you can also do on Twitter at MrCreepyPasta. And as always, I want to give a big thank you to everybody who supports me on Patreon. That includes everybody who's been waiting for me to update my Patreon, and I thank you all so much for being so patient with me. But especially, I want to give a thank you to Jordan Alexander Sanchez, Jakob Fenske, Stephanie Butler, Bobby Karman, Chance Burnett, Kraus, Tristain Pelton, AcidSystem, Adam Gerecke, Aeryn Stormcrow, Aika Limchoc, Amber Clark, Angelus, Atomaurus, Bastion Beefcake, Blue the Enigma, Brayden Morris, Broken Beast 320, Captain Scurvy, Caspian, ChellyJay, Corey Kenshin, Cronut 509, Crusader Chocobo, Cryptic Nightmares, Curse Pox Primarch, Dakota Lane Whetstone, Daniel Polson, Darth Miver, Deleted Account, Dirt Diver 030, M, Esteban, Fester's Lampshade, Freddy Krueger, Gorag Trimagazine, Grand Moth Inoki, Hades Nephew, Happy Birthday Jason Wilson, Harley, Himbo Jerry, Horseman Sect Time, Insanity Gamer X, Jay Cairns, Jesus Corneo, Jordan Humble, Justin LaFontaine, Kaylee Ambrose, Kiri the Sloth, Crazy Kid, Cryolinian, Lambda M98, Lisa Cottrell, Little Crow, Lord Life's Best, Lupita Galvin, Love You Eminem, Matt Bach, Melted Lake, Michael Allen Jr. Bashirs, Mike, Mr. Marcus Blitz, Nate Cull, Nico Kaio, Psychomel, Red Shadow Cat, Rob Like Sharp Things, Samahai, Sashi Suzaku, Seclude, Stricken, Tali Sue, Tater Chip, That Creepy Chick, The Ginger Bros, Turtle Man, Voice of Sand, William King, Xavier and Cheyenne, Yargul, and Zachary Graphius. If you'd like to join this list of names that I horribly mispronounce, then please head over to patreon.com/MrCreepyPasta, or you can always check out the names in the description down below, and I appreciate it infinitely. So thank you all on Patreon, thank you all so much, and to everyone, sweet dreams.